Hi, I'm Steve, and this is my co-pilot, Lucy. Let's go flying. Bonjour, mes amis. Nous sommes Corsica. We're at Corsica aujourd'hui today again, and I'm at Ajaccio. I think that's how you say it. The J is like this in Spanish when it comes out as a Y. Ajaccio, Napoleon Bonaparte Airport. You know, favorite plane lately. Okay, so going to the cockpit. I've laid in our flight plan, and essentially we're just gonna take off from here at Ajaccio and fly up around the island and landing over here. We're going to just fly around the island. It's not a quick short flight as the crow flies, but we're not going as the crow flies. We're going as you would fly this approach. This is an RNAV approach, which frankly I find more interesting than an ILS approach, because ILS, they're just a localizer, and you just have to get to that altitude and it'll bring you in at the initial, you come in at the initial approach fix. This is a little more involved in that it's all GPS, area navigation, or RNAV. So I'm going to be flying this kind of a long way around to get over here to Bastia.
Ajaccio ground Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo with India request taxi for takeoff north departure.
Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo taxi to and hold short of runway 02 via taxiway Echo Cross runway 20 Bravo Tango Alpha. Contact tower on 118.075 when ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway 02 using taxiway Echo Cross runway 20 Bravo Tango Alpha Alpha India Romeo.
Alright, let's release the brake and go. Rudder to steer the plane. You can't steer it with the yoke. That's fine. Alright, stop here for a second. Put in some flaps. And let the tower know I'm ready to go.
Ajaccio Tower Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo ready at runway 02 north departure.
Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo altimeter 29.83 wind 057 at 8. Departure to the north approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 02.
Cleared for takeoff runway 02 Alpha India Romeo.
Okay, so we're going to be off. Here we go. I'm going to go on autopilot at this point. I assume we're going to clear these peaks. Now, I've set our climb rate at about 1,600 feet per minute to 7,000 feet, which should be plenty of altitude to clear whatever there is here. It is, and I'll be in trouble. Anyway, I wanted to do this on autopilot so I could look around and not worry about flying the plane. I think I'm going to need a little more altitude. Go to 8,000. It's higher than I thought it was. This is the home island of Napoleon Bonaparte. In northern France, they call him Bonaparte. But if you were in southern France, I think they'd say Bonaparte. Those peaks look quite high. I think I'm going to come off the autopilot and deviate from the course a little bit. Just to get around them. I don't really want to go right over them, so I'm going to fly the plane myself for a bit. I'm going to turn on the autopilot again. It wants to go right over that damn thing. This place is very rugged. I don't think they were kidding about 13,000 feet.
Alpha India Romeo contact Bastia approach on 123.825. Good day.
Going to 11,000 now.
Bastia approach Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo 8,800 feet.
Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha.
Well, that's some terrain out there. As you can see, a lot of turbulence over this mountainous terrain. Okay, we're at the cruising altitude of 11,000 feet, and this is an RNAV approach with vertical guidance to the runway. So the plane's going to behave as if it was working off an instrument landing system, ground-based instrument landing system, radio beacon, except it's all GPS, which I find a lot more interesting, more 21st century as it were. And so I reset the target altitude to 2,400 feet, and I pressed this RNAV button down here, right there. And now up here I have this white VPAT, VPTH. That means that at some point it should go green. And I'm hoping the autopilot will manage a vertical descent all the way to the final approach fix. And we are about ready to we're coming up on a turn to the northeast. Northeast. We'll be coming around to land at Bastia. So out the right window, a pretty good view of this end of the island. Pretty low. I'm going to try something. We're supposed to be at 13,000 here. I think I'm going to climb a couple thousand feet just to see if it will work from 13,000. So I'm climbing at 13,000, which is the altitude specified in the flight plan. The flight plan called for 13,000. And on this approach, once I reach this this waypoint, Moule, if I have the VNAV arm, vertical navigation, the descent should take care of itself. So that's what I want to see. So having reached 13,000 just about, which is the altitude I'm supposed to be as we begin the approach, now I'm going to reduce the target altitude to 2,400. And then I'm going to push that button. Where is it? RNAV. Okay, that went white down there, and we're white up here. So I have the VPAT vertical navigation arm. And if everything works right, at Moule, we should start descending. And then we still have 5 miles to the final approach fix. And before I get there, I will have to change the target altitude so that it's less than 2,400, arm the approach, and then the plane should follow the vertical guidance, all via GPS, to the runway. So our next waypoint is Nilno, and we'll be making a right turn to the east, kind of going northeasterly now. We'll be going more easterly in a moment once in a while. So we're going to cross this little peninsula here, and the next one coming up is Copco over here. Next waypoint, and that is it's live weather today, not the real time. It's set it to Pacific Coast Daylight Time. Cheated. Little island out there, I don't know what that is. And I'm thinking that's the French mainland. It sure looks like France over there, mainland France. We're at 13,000, certainly high enough to see it. Yeah, and I think that's our destination down there. Bastia. It's on this coastal plain over here. We'll be coming around a long way around to land there. Sure. There is no localizer involved. And the key abbreviation here is LPV, which is localizer performance, meaning lateral guidance to the runway. Lateral guidance, sideways, runway center line, and vertical guidance, V, gets you down to the runway. LPV, localizer performance with vertical guidance, which is music to my ears. So we see the opposite coast of Corsica, from where we took off, out the passenger window. We are about 15 miles from Bastia at this point. We've got a way to go to land. Contact Bastia Tower in a moment and let them know we're going to land. I hope they don't tell me I have to land a different direction, but completely mess me up. So we're 6.5 miles to Mull and the beginning of the descent.
Bastia Tower, Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo is 13 miles northeast, 13,000 feet with Sierra to land.
Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo Bastia Tower. Altimeter 29.84, wind tree 07 at 7. Fly right, traffic runway, tree 4.
Enter right traffic runway, tree 4 Alpha India Romeo.
So here we go. Coming up on Mull, and are we going to start a descent? That's the question. There we go. It's going to bring us down. We got the green V-path up here, so we are descending as planned. And that is a really interesting descent because it's different from the chart. Well, the chart has it pretty square. Obviously, you're not going to turn at right angles like that. So it worked. That's pretty cool. I'm going to throttle back a little bit because I don't want to pick up too much speed. Especially don't want to overtake my waypoints. Question is, are we going to get down to 2,400 feet in time? Next target is 7,060 feet at Kappa. There's the runway. There's Poreta down there. Bastia, Poreta. Get to 7,200 feet. And I gotta get down there in 7,100 feet. Gotta get down there in about 3 miles. So the slower I go, the better I can meet that target. I've got to drop still 1,000 feet to get there. We're descending at 1,250 feet a minute. I'm going to bring down the flaps again to slow down. Okay, I've got to get down to 2,400 pretty quick. And we're almost coming up on the final approach. A couple miles to go, I've got to be down lower than this. Might miss it. Alright. Time to earn the approach. Okay, I've armed the approach. Got a white GP. We're at 2,400 where I need to be. And 4 miles to the final approach fix, at which point we will continue our descent to the runway. GP is glide path that's in white here. We are not doing vertical descent right now because we're at 2,400 feet for another 3.5 miles. Then we start. While I'm on autopilot, I can look around a little bit. This is really a pretty island. I wonder if they get... It's high enough they could get snow on the mountains in the winter. Not enough for skiing, though. And we're on the glide path. And we're descending. So here we go. A successful RNAV approach with vertical guidance. So we're about 5.5 miles to the runway. I don't know what this thing is up here. I'm gonna have to study that. That light blinks and it means something, but I'm not sure what. 3, 4, not 3. I'll put another notch of flap or 2 in a moment. Now. I bet this land looks really rich over here. I don't know how much rain Corsica gets. Okay, I've got full flaps. I've throttled up. Probably good landing speed about here. Cross about 500 feet here shortly. 500 coming up. It's about time to go off the autopilot. Yep. Quite a bit of crosswind right now. Alright, this is it. Off the autopilot. Get lined up straight. Cutting the throttle. Nice. And we are at Bastia, Poreta, or Poreta, Bastia. Bastia, Poreta. Flying in from Ajaccio. I'll have to say that, Ajaccio.
Alpha India Romeo exit runway.
Figured out how to say it.
Going to 121.83 Alpha India Romeo. Bastia ground, Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo taxi to the gate.
Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo taxi to gate Alpha Tree Echo using taxiway Alpha.
Forget this stuff. It's not really here. Less so than this is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this flight. It was interesting. I thought the approach was interesting for sure. That's all for this flight, and I'm going to leave you with the traditional flight controllers goodbye, which is good day.